It is recording. We are live now. Okay. So thank you for reminding me about that. So last week, we did some work that I understand some of you really connected with and some of you didn't connect with at all. And I'm sure that everybody was kind of on the spectrum somewhere in between. And I've gotten a lot of really good feedback about how to possibly make it easier for people to engage with the process. And anyway, I just appreciate all the feedback that I'm getting because I'm learning as I go, and I want to make this as easy as possible and as healing as possible for everybody. So, and if you weren't here earlier, I will be re-recording the first session and sending out that link as well, hopefully this afternoon. So there will be 2 links in my email to you about last week's session and then the one that we're currently doing today. Before we get started, does anybody have anything that they want to share about any progress that they made during the week, if you continued to work on things on your own or otherwise? Nothing yet? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started then, because this is a big one, in my opinion. And it has personally, for me, been a very, very big topic. One that I honestly had no idea about until I really started working through it. So this is all about physical body denial and rejection. So your body is really the foundation of your first chakra. But let me back up a little bit, because a couple of people asked to basically have a better understanding of chakras before moving forward. So chakras are energy centers in your body. They start at your tailbone and they go all the way up to the top of your head. There are 7 in total. And really what it gives us is a really detailed map of our body, our physical body, but also the emotions and things that you're experiencing that are keeping you from reaching whatever goals you want to with your weight loss. And the first chakra is what we were working on last week and this week, and have a couple more sessions on, is the foundation of everything. And you need to have a really solid foundation in order to build really solid floors on top of that. It's just like a high-rise building. And you can't have a really solid building if you have a slippery or cracked or unstable foundation in any way, shape, or form. That's why the first chakra is so important to help it to heal. And the way that the first chakra forms is through in the womb, but also through basically about the first year of childhood. And it's when as a baby, you first start experiencing things in the world. And it's usually all things physical. So it's, are your needs being met physically? Are you being fed enough? Are you warm? Are you being nurtured? Does your environment feel safe? Do you feel like you belong? Do you feel like you are wanted? And do you feel like you have a right to be here? And with that, your body is really a level of consciousness that's solid and real in your life. So being in your body is crucial to being alive, healthy, present, in action, and it's crucial to your ability to manifest health and the vitality that you want. When you're not in your body, and when I say in your body, what I really mean is feeling all of the feelings within your body and being present with what's happening. A lot of people, they send all of their energy up to their head. And so they're constantly thinking through things. They think through their feelings, they think through situations, but they don't feel their way through it. And that's that disassociation is one of the biggest things that will keep you from having a really solid foundation in your first chakra. So, and if that's the case, if you're constantly sending your energy upward into thinking your feelings and so forth, your presence will not have much power or impact, and often people will not even notice you. Your body, because is the foundation of power that everything else in our energy system is built upon. So, however, like the vast majority of people feel a sense of anger, disappointment, and even disgust by their own bodies. So this process may be intense for some of you because it unearths our extremely unkind opinions about and the rejection of our physical self, which is a manifestation of our first chakra. So healing and shifting this rejection has a major impact on our willingness to be in our body, to be present in there, and therefore has a major positive effect on our energy and our presence. So for some people, any kind of physical trauma, and it doesn't necessarily have to be during that developmental stage of your life, it could be at any point. If you had some physical trauma, either sexual or otherwise, whether it was a serious disease or illness, for me, I've had many things like breast cancer, whatever, that have caused me to want to disassociate with my body, because not only do I not trust it, I feel like it has betrayed me in a way at a really fundamental level, and it's really hard to feel an affinity or even the urge to treat my body with love. And healing and shifting this rejection has a major impact on our willingness to be in our body. And so getting to that level of forgiveness and grief or disappointment directed at the body is really our main goal for today. In addition, there may have been times in our life when maybe you got insulted or you felt like you were judged by other people. Especially if maybe you were overweight as a child or something different or awkward about our body was present when you were a kid. Rejecting or hating our body is rejection of yourself at its most basic level. And it's essentially a victimless crime because it happens only in your head. And you can go on and on and on about it as much as you want. And it sucks because no one is there to stop you. No one is there to pull in the reins and say, hey. Go a little easier on yourself. So today we're going to continue our work of healing this foundation of power and presence, which is the first chakra. And we're going to do that by addressing this really important aspect in your body, because your body is your home. So we're going to look at how you feel about your physical body. And you might have a mix of good or bad feelings about your body. And the great thing is that positive feelings are really great and will only continue to get better. But you might have a sense of feeling like it's a bit counterintuitive to really focus on all the negative thoughts with doing the tapping. But I just want to assure you that those negative thoughts are already there. And to try and pretend that they're not is doing yourself a disservice. But actually giving them a voice, allowing yourself to really speak the words and not just have them swirling around in your heads, but to really speak the words. That's the part that brings you healing. That's the part and the tapping that gets your energy moving and flowing and allows it to release. So although it may feel really negative at times with the tapping, I want to assure you that positive results are on the other side of this. And I can say that from my own personal experience. But I also want to tell you that this is not, for some of you, this is not going to be one session. For me, and I'm very possibly on the very extreme end of things with my body and my severe dislike of it, it has taken me a few months to get to the point where I'm really starting to release it now and really starting to approach my body from a totally different perspective of radical self-love. And I want you to get there too, because this has been everything for me. And I'm so excited to finally be in this place, because wow, what a different experience it is to live life from this perspective and to want to be in my body instead of always trying to escape. So let's start with a visualization. So I'm going to ask all of you to start by taking a nice deep breath. You're going to close your eyes for me. And I want you to tune into your body. I want you to put your energy and your focus down into your core. I want you to feel in that area. I don't want you to think about feeling in that area. I want you to really feel it. And that might be a confusing distinction right now, but that understanding will come the more that you work on this area. So now I want you to imagine, and remember, we are trying to activate you. We're trying to get you triggered here. So now I want you to imagine that you are looking at yourself in the mirror and you are in a swimsuit. And I want you to consider your body. I want you to think about, first, is there something physically about your body that you really don't like and you judge it because it's not the way that you want it to be, or it feels imperfect or not good enough in some way? And is there anything that you look at and go, oh, that is so ugly? And secondly, I want you to let your mind run through the past and come up with a time that you feel like your body has really, really let you down physically, really disappointed you. Maybe you had an illness or an issue with something in your body that created pain, or your body didn't recover the way that it was supposed to, or you needed medical intervention. I want you to think about all of this. Think about all of that. And I want you to say to yourself, my body has really let me down. And I want you to measure that on a scale from 0 to 10 on how true it feels. 0 is not true at all, and 10 is absolutely true. I want you to also notice if there's something really specific about your body that you come up with when you think of my body has really let me down. Okay, and I want you to, we're going to start tapping in a second, but I want you to really focus on whatever thoughts come up for you. Doing tapping often releases little distinctions that can be really important in your ability to release something completely. And it's going to be different for everybody. The distinctions that I have come up with are not necessarily what any of you might experience on your own, but they should be noted so that, given the opportunity at a later point, you can start to incorporate whatever words you need to acknowledge that part of yourself. So let's go ahead and start tapping. So again, you're just gonna repeat after me, tap where I tap, and say what I say. So let's start up on your eyebrow point. There's my body. There it is. It's always been my body. And there have always been things wrong with it. I learned really young to reject parts of my body. Parts that didn't fit my image of what they should be. It doesn't fit with what the world tells me they should be. So I quickly learned that bodies can let you down. And that there's something wrong with mine. And that's been proven to me over and over again. Because my body has let me down. It has caused me pain, suffering, embarrassment, and sometimes even humiliation. And I have judged my body so many times. And I imagine others are judging me too. Because this body is not good enough. It is not perfect. Not even close. It's not the body I really want. So most of the time I just ignore it and pretend like it's not even there. But then I'm made aware of it again, and my frustration returns. I don't want to be in this body. And I've often been at war with it. I've tried to fix it, change it, even negotiate with it. And I just can't get there. Or if I do, it's so short-lived. So many things wrong with this body. And some of them feel unforgivable. Unforgivable. The truth is, I reject my body. And I should. It doesn't support me or do what I want it to do. So I reject it. I want to love my body, but I'm just not there. I don't want to be conscious of this body. I'm sure it would cause me even more grief. I totally reject my body. And I'm right about this. Disconnecting from my body is my best strategy for avoiding pain and suffering that comes from this distrust and betrayal and severe dislike of my body. And I just want to honor that. My body has let me down and continues to cause me physical and emotional pain and suffering. Why would I want to be more conscious of that? The answer is, I don't. I reject my body. And I should. I'm right about this. And I just want to honor that. And I want to honor all these feelings about my body. Okay. Take a nice deep breath. Now that's a lot of negative stuff, right? Some pretty harsh words. All these words and feelings have gone through your head at some point, and it's really amazing when we say them out loud because it's so shockingly negative. So I just want you to check in with that. Let's close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath again. And I want you to go back to that visualization of you standing in front of the mirror. And consider your body again. And let's check in with the sentence that my body has let me down, or it's my body is unforgivable. And just see now where you're at with things. After that first tapping round, why don't you guys let me know where you started with the first round and where you are now. Vanessa started at an 8, now at a 7. Okay. Anybody else? Corrine started at 10, now to a 9. Okay. Dawn, 7, now a 9. It's not unusual. Started as 7 for Lisa and now went up to an 8. Okay. I just want to have a moment of consciousness about this because it's not unusual when we have a habit of staying very disassociated from our body to feel okay about it initially. And then we start doing a little bit of tapping around like that and we feel way worse because we have awakened something that you've tried really hard not to feel. So when we reject ourselves at this most basic level, there is no way we can actually feel what we need to and don't need in a way of nutrition or movement or self-care in any given moment because we've distanced ourselves so much from the intensity of the painful feelings that are housed there. So when you feel worse, it means that you've literally hit on something that you've tried very, very hard not to feel. And as we unblock the energy with tapping, something that has been locked down in your system for years and years, then the negative emotions can feel a bit overwhelming. So, or if you say, maybe I'm feeling numb in my body, or I don't really feel anything at all, it likely means that you have disassociated and maybe decided, I'm just not going there. You know, and if that's the case, what I would suggest you do is start tapping on things like, I refuse to feel this. I refuse to be in my body. It's not safe. I refuse to deal with these issues. I don't even want a body. I would rather not have one. So I would suggest starting there and tapping through the phrases like that will help ground you again and bring you back into your body. And once you get back into your body, you will know pretty quickly why you don't want to be there. Because there's going to be some emotion, maybe some pain, maybe even a lot of fear and anxiety, as there was for me and continues to be. I continue to work through this issue, and it's slow moving, but I am making progress, which is really encouraging because it's changing a lot of things about my perspective. But keep tapping through it, and know that as you tap through these points, you are rewiring your nervous system around this. And you're releasing the energy and changing the pattern of your nervous system around this whole issue. And it's really powerful. Okay, does anybody else have any more comments? Okay, Judith started at a 9 or 10 and now maybe at a 7 or 8. Okay, good. Dawn, you're still at an 8. Carrie, just feeling very sad about this. And you know what the thing about that is, Carrie, is when you start to really see what you've been doing with your body, you can't help but feel a tremendous sense of grief over what you've lost in the process. That, you know, you've been trying so hard to not think about those things. And when you finally tune into it, it's like, oh my God, what have I been doing? So I totally understand that. Okay. Karina, I was really fighting saying the word. I didn't like how I felt. Yeah. This is probably going to be an important topic for you to continue to tap on. Shavetta, it brought tears to my eyes when we started tapping. Yeah. Same for me, tears, said Heidi. Carrie, feeling sick to my stomach. Okay, these are all, this is a big, big issue. And don't discount it for any reason, because all these things are telling you is there needs to be more focus here. Remember what I said during the first session. Anytime you experience any emotion, any sadness, grief, anger, whatever it is, even pain, anxiety, the important thing is to lean into the process now. Lean into the process and continue the work, and we're gonna continue tapping on this. Okay. Vanessa said, I think that same thing all the time when tapping, Karine. It's crazy to say these things out loud, and in many cases we're saying to ourselves inside, and it's really very healing. Very true, Vanessa. Thank you for saying that. Okay, so we're going to continue tapping now, starting on your eyebrow point. Maybe I feel a little bit better, but maybe I feel worse. Either way, it feels awful. Tuning into my body is terrifying. I actually don't want to go there. I would rather ignore my body and pretend it doesn't even exist. It's reminding me that I don't feel safe at a core level, that I'm not in control at a core level, and that I'm vulnerable and weak at a very core level. I don't want to feel that. This is terrible. It makes me feel weak. I would rather disappear. It reminds me that I'm physically not capable of certain things. And I'm vulnerable to the opinions and judgments of others. It reminds me that I'm not as strong as I want to be. Tuning into my body reminds me that I'm insecure and that I have a ball of shame that lives inside me all the time. And I just want to honor that. I'm wired for fear, unsafety, and danger. And it's running in me all the time, in my body. I don't want to be in my body. I don't want to feel all this emotion, all this grief and pain, and a lifetime of sadness over what I've lost because of it. All focused on my body. If I let myself truly feel this, it could be a volcano or an unending well of tears. And the truth is, no one really gets it. No one understands how uncomfortable I am every single day. How much pain I've experienced because of this body. My body is not my friend. And I will stay as far away from it as I possibly can. No one really understands that. And they can't. So I just pretend like it's not even there. I really don't want to feel all that pain. It's so scary to think about my body. So uncomfortable. It's just energy though, and it's moving. It's releasing and flowing. I've tightened up against it my whole life. And my physical muscles have tried to contain it. And my mind has been managing it, holding down the lid and pretending it doesn't exist. It feels good to move all that grief, disappointment, and fear, moving it out of my body. I totally honor myself right now in this work that I'm doing because I'm never going to be the same. I'm never going to be the same after this moment. I am moving this energy. It doesn't feel great, but every cell in my body is rejoicing, relieved of some of this smothering burden. And it's being washed clean. The truth is, I'm alive. This is my body. And even though I may still have some pain, disappointment, or fear, I'm glad I have a body. And I'm honoring that at a very basic level. I honor my body. And I still feel some resistance to that statement. But I'm open and willing to move this energy little by little and start to feel at home in this body. All this energy moving. I'm so open to lightening this up, letting it go, releasing, unblocking, and unwinding, letting it flow up and out. My nervous system and every cell releasing this pain. I release it from every cell in my body, every cell membrane, every cell receptor, and every fiber of my being. Okay, take a nice deep breath. You just want to notice how you're feeling right now, how present you're feeling. And you may still have a ton of emotions about this, and just know that it's okay to lean into it and honor it as much as you can. You can honor the anger because there's a reason it's there. And you can honor the judgment and um, the sadness and everything because there is a reason it's there and it's totally understandable. And because if we really let this energy move, if we really voice it and let it clear, on the other side of it is totally loving your body. I mean, can you imagine that? Before doing this work, I couldn't even comprehend the idea of loving my body. Like it just was not even a possibility. And now, not just loving how you look physically, and that's a great byproduct, hopefully, but loving. We want to get you to a point of like loving your sexuality, loving your personal power, and seriously owning the amount of space that you occupy in this world. If you are able to do that and continue this work, your whole life will change. If a part of you has made an unspoken or an internal vow to never go there, to never allow yourself to be seen, or or if you want to stay wounded about this, then this could be showing up. There's some really strong resistance for you with this tapping. Um, so I just think that it's really, really important work. And more than anything, this has been really transformational for me. So I'm going to, we're going to do another round of tapping, kind of try and take this full circle. But I do want to hear, before we move on, some more comments from you about how that last round was and where you're at now with your number. Still very heavy, said Carrie. Yeah. I I have to share that Vanessa started at 7, still at a 7, and Dawn, I am resisting mightily. I can relate. And I probably tapped on this. I have tapped and continue to tap, and I have put hours in, hours and hours of tapping on this particular issue. And thankfully, it does move incrementally, but it does move, and there has to be a dedication to it and a willingness, because there is healing on the other side. I mean, I made a commitment maybe a week and a half ago to start being better with my food. And I really have, for the first time in my life, been approaching it from a place of radical self-love. Like I stopping every time I'm ready to put something in my mouth and saying, is this going to help me thrive? And before, it was never like that. It was always, I have indulged way too much. I need to punish myself with some, um, you know, limiting my food intake practically down to nothing. And I need to feel deprived in order to make any progress, and feel anxious and unhappy the entire time in order to get my body to a place where I could look at myself in the mirror without hating it. And that's not a good way to go about doing it. And this time around, it has been feeling very, very different. So I just want to, I'm just trying to encourage you that there is some really radical healing on the other side of this. So continuing to work through this process is really important. Okay. Corinne said, I feel a lot lighter now, a 6 down from an 8. Okay, that's great. Making some progress. Dawn, I feel better from an 8 to a 7 or a 6. Okay, good. Making some progress. Dawn, I want to believe and I will commit. Yay! Good for you. It will pay off. I guarantee you it will pay off. Judith, working through it will take some time, but I am open to understanding this issue. And like I said, there have been some really important distinctions for me that have happened along the way while I have continued to tap. on the only things that I can think of, which was that, oh my God, I hate my body. I don't trust it. It has betrayed me over and over again. Why would I ever want to trust my body? I judge it because I should, and has given me good reason to judge it, and ranting and raving. And I did that for the longest time. And then when my numbers started to come down, I started getting small distinctions about not only what I needed to focus more tapping on, but understanding where it came from. And to me, that has been critical, because then you start tapping on the why and the cause of the problem. Was it that there was some really physical trauma? Or was it just that you came into this world feeling completely unsafe, and the world is unsafe, and anything that's approaching me is going to put me at risk? And so if your body feels like it's threatened, or in some way, shape, or form, the threat might be real or imagined. It does not matter. If the threat is there and the fear is there, and it doesn't feel like a safe place to be for whatever reason, or for a million reasons, your energy is going to go up and out. And when your energy goes up and out, there is no way that you can be in touch with what your body needs, wants, deserves, would thrive with. I've also made the distinction recently that when my energy continues to go up, the only thing that makes me feel grounded was by eating too much. Because then my stomach would feel overfull, I would feel heavy and grounded, and that was what I was searching for the whole time. I didn't realize it. I was going about it with food as opposed to just bringing my energy back down into my body and being present. And that's been a huge distinction for me. Okay, Lisa, I had a spike upwards at first. I'm so aware of how I've used my body to shield and distance me from people and things. As we continued, my number went down, probably a 5 now. That's great. That's really, really great. Positive progress. Keep at this. We are recording. I keep looking up in the corner and it still says that we're recording. So I will be able to send you a link for this, and you can continue on your own as much as you need to. Viviana, my numbers stay the same. Okay. All that means is that you have to keep working at it. My number stayed the same for the longest time, Viviana, and it was only after I had been dedicated to it that I started to see even like a half a number. I could feel that there was a little bit more lightness, and then it would shift a little bit down further. But it has been a process for me, and something that has lasted much longer than all the other tapping that I've done. This one has been key, critical, and more transformational than anything. So I encourage you to stay with it. Okay. Everybody's doing such an amazing job. I honor you for sticking with this. It is not easy work. And let's do another round of tapping, hopefully to get you to a point where you're feeling good about moving forward with this process. Okay. So follow along with me. We're going to start on the eyebrow point. Okay. All this intensity. Just wow. My eyes are really opened to what I've been carrying in my body and what I've been blaming my body for. What I've been hating about myself. There's a part of me that runs this program, that runs this wounding, that continues to hurt me with criticism. It's like a record player, a recording that's been put on loop. It was created in the past. Sometimes other people have put their voice on the recording, and situations have added to it. And I have never questioned what it said. This part of me that's running like a recording. And I just assumed that it was real, that it was me, and that it was the truth. And I just want to honor that realization. My eyes are wide open now. And I'm observing this part of me that actually made a vow of self-loathing, probably to protect myself. Because if I hate myself first, then I am less vulnerable to other people's judgments. A part of me made a vow to never forgive myself. I'm always broken, unfixable, never perfect. I'm just observing this now and seeing how often it runs. And it's running a lot. And I've been listening like it's the truth. But it might not be the truth. I might have some space here to make a choice. To make a choice about this recording. As I observe it, it weakens. And as I observe it, I become more conscious. And in that gift of consciousness, I can make a new choice. Okay, take a nice deep breath. Okay, we're going to check back in with your body now. And with that same statement that we started with. And my body has let me down. And I would love for everybody to chime in and tell me what your thoughts and feelings are about this topic. And if you want to, you can do as Lisa suggested and turn your video back on so we can have more of a conversation as opposed to just some words. Anybody want to share their experience? Shivetta, I feel grounded. That's awesome. Really loved hearing that. Hopeful, Carrie said, still a 9 or a 10. Carrie, I just encourage you to continue working with this recording and continue just ranting and raving, going through the tapping points. Don't worry about if you're tapping in the right order or anything along those lines. Just tap where it feels good and spend some time with it. Lean into it and you will get there. Anybody else? Corrine, feeling tired and peaceful. I'm glad. That is the intent. You guys are quiet. Vanessa, I'm having a hard time putting into words. I want to change. I don't like thinking this way and feeling this way. As you know, I hate living in the negative, but if you don't let it out, that voice will always be there putting you down. That is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Dawn said, I'm more conscious of my negative self-talk and feel more confident that I can combat it. Judith is optimistic. Good. Dawn, I do want to add that I struggle with the idea of it being a battle and fighting against it. As long as you are tapping while you are giving that negative part of yourself a voice, you are releasing it. If you're not tapping while the negative thoughts are happening, or then they just swirl around in your head and they continue to work their destruction. So what I suggest you do is stay with whatever negative thoughts come up. Stay with it, lean into it, just tap through it and voice them. Actually say them out loud. If you don't have a comfortable place to do the tapping out loud, then do it in your head, but still do the tapping. And constantly be working on this until it just isn't happening any longer. Okay. You guys, I'm so proud of you. I know this is hard work. I absolutely know it's hard work, and you guys are doing an amazing job of sticking with it and staying in there even when it's no fun.
So Amy, I have a couple of questions. If everybody's done sharing,
Yes, go ahead.
So my questions are like with regards to like the affirmations or like the negative things we're talking. If we like instead of recording, if we have to do it on our own, how do we like do it? Forming like just it's like all, because my impression of tapping was as you said, it's counterintuitive. It was like saying positive things while tapping, but here we were just saying negative things to let out our negative energy. So how do like if I have to do it on myself by myself without the recording, so that if I'm sitting and I can just do it. And so my first question is, how do I form my own statements? Second is, how many number of times do I do the rounds? And there was one more, I lost a thought. So these are the two questions first.
Okay, so I had a really difficult time when I started tapping on my own as well. I didn't know what to say. It just felt funny that I was somehow doing it wrong. And when I let go of that and I just started ranting, like I said, whatever random thoughts are coming into my head, and I would just tap through the points as I'm basically talking out loud to myself. So whatever thoughts come up, I mean, you could go from head to toe and go, oh my God, my skin is so blotchy. Or, my hips are so huge. I look especially big today in this outfit and I can't stand it. I judge myself so much. I mean, it could be anything. But you just say whatever comes up in your mind and just keep doing it. Keep doing it.
And how many rounds, how many rounds of just till the time, like when should I stop? 3 rounds is enough. Like if I want to do it quick, if I'm feeling anxious and I want to do it quick, 3 rounds is enough.
Yeah.
3 or 4. Yeah. And then
you can stay with it as long as you want. Sometimes I like to tap on the treadmill. I'm walking on the tapping and walking and tapping at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I can, a single round can go for 10 minutes for me. Mm-hmm. So it really is just a personal preference and what feels right in the moment.
Okay. And then after all this negative, like whatever ranting we have to do we need to do anything positive in the end, or just like?
There's kind of a magic turning point, when you're doing your tapping. If your number is anywhere above a 4, stay with the negative. Just be in the negative, continue to give it a voice, let it have its day in court. Honor it, don't judge it, but just let it be there. And then when you start getting below a 4, then you're going to start feeling like, no, my body is really resilient. And you start feeling like this positive energy rising up within you from a really natural place, as opposed to, oh my God, I shouldn't be thinking this. Let me write down some positive affirmations. you know, it'll start coming from a much more natural place and really a place of feeling that before thinking it.
Okay. So basically, it is just taking out all the negative emotions out rather than suppressing it and putting affirmations on it. It's just taking them out, and then automatically we have positive after that.
Yes.
It's,
Yes. Absolutely.
Storm before the lull, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Yes. Always giving it a voice.
Okay.
And I wouldn't necessarily call them, well, they are negative emotions, but they're just shadow emotions, and they deserve their day in court too.
Yeah.
Just like the happy ones, just like the socially acceptable ones.
Yeah. Basically, just accepting all part of us, right? With a positive, negative, shadow emotions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Vanessa also said, what do you recommend when I'm getting ready and if I think negatively when I look at myself in the mirror? Let's say I'm thinking, God, you're fat. Should I tap for a bit? And the truth is, if you have the time, yeah, absolutely. If you have 5 minutes, spend 5 minutes and just go through saying, oh my God, my ass looks so big and I don't even think I should wear this today because it's just not flattering at all. Whatever it is, if you have 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes less you will need to tap later. And it just might get you into a positive place for your day. So if you only have like 5 or 10 minutes and you're feeling particularly vulnerable with whatever it is you're wearing or how you're feeling about your body, I would do like 1 or 2 negative rounds, and then I would try to infuse some positive stuff, because you don't want to go outdoors, feeling really shitty. Lisa said, that's really helpful to hear that tapping while saying the negative thoughts helps move energy, because I kept wondering, why is this so negative? I know, it's really counterintuitive, but those thoughts are there. They're there. Pretending that they're not is like deluding yourself. And it's really when you allow them, then it's like unblocking the energy, and all of a sudden things start flowing and moving, and then they just can leave. So that's kind of the magic of tapping. And I know it's oftentimes counterintuitive, but that is really what works. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, well, you guys are amazing. You're amazing, and you're awesome, and you're courageous, and I honor you, and I thank you for trusting me with this journey. And I can't wait to work with you again next week. And I will be sending you a link shortly because I am still recording. All right, you guys, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you. And please, if you want, email me any feedback. I am so interested in getting feedback from you guys on everything that we do here. Okay. And again, I will be talking with my Facebook expert and hopefully getting some answers soon about making that work for you guys. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa, Vanessa, Karine, Dawn. So good. I agree. Thank you guys. Have a great day.